guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode.
This episode is brought to you by Unidragon.com. Unidragon puzzles are great for the whole family to participate in because they are not only beautifully crafted, they are really a work of art. You can put this together and then literally hang it on your wall afterwards, and they have all these beautiful colors and shapes and animals, and you've got a great site to navigate through. The prices are fantastic. They're wooden puzzles, and they are very, very reasonably priced. So it's something that you can keep forever. You can give it to a gift. If you know somebody who loves lions, you can send them a lion and they can put it together, and it's like kind of a keepsake. It's a beautiful gift. Use promo code DRAGONA1 through July 31st and you will receive a 10% discount on any puzzle that you purchase. One of my favorite puzzles on the Unidragon.com is a world puzzle, and it's a mirrored glass, and it's just beautiful. I could see this piece of art in my house, like behind my couch or on a big giant wall. It's a beautiful puzzle. They're really well handcrafted. The Unidragon exclusive wood world map comes in sapele, oak, mirrored, and walnut, and they are just beautifully handcrafted. It is a work of art. It's magnificent. Please visit Unidragon.com and use the promo code DRAGONA1 and you will receive a 10% discount. And you could find maybe your favorite animal or your favorite shape and definitely give it as a gift. It's a great company. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
Really?
Yes.
I have something to say.
Okay. Uh-oh.
And then there's one.
You're down to one?
I'm down to one. And, you know, if anybody's watched prior to this...
Wait, you were down to one before. Did you find the other one and lose it again?
No, I wasn't down to one before. I had both of them. One fell in the toilet in my urine. I blew it dry with the Dyson blow dryer, and it worked. But now I have lost one. These are the hardest things to keep track of. However, my daughter did say, and I don't know if this is true or not, how much you want to bet? It's not. That's our new game we're going to play. You can purchase just the insert, like one at a time.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. I have to find that out because, you know, I mean, I lose these things right, left, and center all the time. So it would be great if I could purchase one of those for, let's say, like, I don't know, $20?
Well, how much is the set?
$129?
Yeah, it's going to be $40 or something, but...
Okay.
But now, are they left and right, or are they
yes, they're left and right. Well, yeah.
Are they left and
I
right?
think so.
Do they have a little L and R on them?
Well, I don't know. I don't see that. Oh, gosh. Do they?
You've been wearing them in the wrong ears. That's why you've been tripping all the time.
Have I been
You've been off
tripping?
balance. That's why you've been banging the table all the time.
I bang the table all the time?
Yeah, because you have the wrong eyeball in.
Let's see. No, they're left and right. So this is the left. I need the right. So anyway, that's my little fun fact.
Where'd you lose it?
I don't know.
If I knew, I wouldn't have lost it. Yeah.
Oh, you're messing.
Was it?
Okay.
Did you lose it in the house? Did you lose it on the road?
I believe it's in the house somewhere, in the bathroom somewhere.
Or inside Halo.
That would be something, wouldn't it? Oh,
well, like we said, you'll get that back.
Halo. Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor. If God forbid you do get that back, you
don't
want
use
it. You
it.
don't want. Don't give me Dyson blow dryer. No,
My urine is one thing,
that's
but
gone.
oh, okay.
Who's the guest today?
Oh, the guest today is Andrea Logan, a very dear friend of mine, and she's an actress, an author, a mother, a writer, and she wrote a book called Perfectly Unfinished that is just such a great, candid book of sharing her testimony, and I love it because we all have a test, right? I say this all the time, that we turn into our testimony, and she is truly just an amazing woman of God and mother and friend, and so I'm excited to have her on today. She's an awesome actress, too. She loves action movies. She does a lot of, she's done everything, really.
Production company, right?
She does have a production company, and she does it all. This woman amazes me, because I have one child who is not even living with me, and I can't seem to find time, and yet she has 3 kids under 14, and she just like writes books and cookbooks, and she's incredible. So I'm excited to find out her secrets today and to just get to talk to her. It'll be fun. So
it always made me mad when you'd see some guy who knows how to play the piano with his feet, and you're like, I can barely play it with my hands and stuff. Yeah, or plays the guitar with his feet because I don't have any hands, and you're just like,
it's truly amazing. Yeah. So
before we get to the complaint of the day, I'll give you my story of the day.
Oh.
I was kicked out of Target for the second time in my life.
Who gets kicked out of Target?
Me, twice.
Why?
Well, the first time was about 2-3 years ago. I had bought something that had one of those security devices on it that they have to undo. And the guy at the checkout stand couldn't figure out how to get the security device off. So he called over this nice lady. I call her a nice lady. She was not very nice. But anyway, she came over. And I'll call her Gertrude because she looked like a Gertrude.
Oh, wow. That's
And
we don't want to
apologize
offend
to all
any
the
Gertrudes. Let's
but
not
she looked
offend
like
any
one.
Gertrudes. I love that name.
So she came over and she like moved it around and hit the bag that on top of it and took it off and said to the guy, you just have to rough it up a little bit and smack it around. And I said, just like a woman.
Oh,
and she looked at me and I said, I could have said just like a man too. I was joking. The guy was joking. She said, sir, I'm going to ask you to leave the store. And they kicked me out of Target for making a joke.
No.
So this was a while ago. 2 weeks ago, I'm in there, and I had I had a pair of pants that I bought, and it didn't fit. It was like $18. It wasn't a big deal. So I walked back into Target. I said, look, I don't have the receipt, but I'd like to return these pants. And the little snippy person behind the counter said, well, if you don't have a receipt, how do I know you just didn't go down the thing, pick up these pants, and bring them here and try to get the money? I said, yeah, I make my living by taking a pair of pants and making $18 on a return. I said, if I was going to do that, wouldn't I go and gotten something worth $600? Sir, you need to calm down. Look, I am calm. I'm just saying, you accused me of trying to steal a pair of pants and then return. Sir, you need to calm down. I'm being calm, but you... And then he called over a manager and said, sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave the store.
Stop.
And they threw me out of the store again.
Are you kidding me?
No, now listen, I like Target. I think Target's a great store, and I buy a lot of stuff there. But you got to tell your people to stop kicking people like me out of your store.
Or let me just tell you, Target, for those of you who don't know this man, he gets passionately excited, and it comes across as being angry, but he's actually just going, he's like, are you Italian?
I'm down $18. That's all I know. A pair of pants that don't fit me.
You can't find the receipt?
No. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into other Targets and see if I can return it there. But I'm afraid. Remember the Seinfeld where George read the book in the bathroom, and then he tried to turn it at a different Barnes and Noble, and he said, "This book's been in a bathroom."
Yeah, it's flagged.
I'm afraid they'll
Your
have my
pants are
picture up there.
flagged.
These pants have been.
You walk in and like red lights will go off.
Yeah.
It's like,
do not allow this man to return.
Oh my gosh, who gets kicked out of Target, especially at your age?
You know what? It happens more than you think.
Okay, well.
Because it happened to me twice.
Yeah, I mean, 2 times. You're hilarious. Well, be on your best behavior with Andrea because she's just a sweet, kind person. I'm looking forward to.
Definitely one thing we want to talk about today.
What?
I know it happened a couple days ago or a week ago, but Nike. And
yeah.
I used to wear Nike all the time. In fact, I still have a pair of Nike shoes I haven't worn, or sneakers that I haven't worn since. And what got me was the original one with Colin Kaepernick, where he said, how dare you put out a Betsy Ross flag, that's racist, blah, blah, blah. And they pulled the shoes for a flag, the 13-star flag, which, by the way, in 2012 hung proudly from the White House as Obama was being reinaugurated. So apparently it wasn't a problem then. It's just a problem, because. But now they've come out with, the devil shoes or the devil sneakers or something?
I believe that they're called Satan shoes. And that there are, Lil Nas is, a producer, music producer, and he has created them. I'm not sure the exact details, so please don't anybody hold me accountable. And if you want to tell me, let me know exactly. But from what I understand, he has designed them, and they have a drop of human blood on them. And so... in them or on them, whatever. I honestly, I don't understand, and maybe Nike can help me understand. I've had clothing lines before, Tomboy Designs. We licensed products like Nike and NFL for the NFL products, etc. And they have the ability to say, no, you can't use our logo, you can't use our name. Because you have to license it. And so I'm just not sure what the story is or how it goes or why it even got this far, other than the only thing I could deduce from this is that they want the publicity. And I don't know that I could get on board with something that is so negative and dark in a world right now that we're really struggling.
I could see Lil Nas going to Nike and say, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Because aren't they going to only sell 666 of them or something? Or...
Yes.
So I could see him as a publicity stunt going to Nike and say, hey, look, I just put out this album. it's all devil worshipping and yada. Which people could argue that Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne were all devil worshipping, fine. But for someone at Nike to say, hey, great idea, and then pass that up the chain in Nike, I mean, it had to go through 10 or 15 people at Nike who all said, yes, great idea, let's do it. Unless there's one guy at the top where 14 guys below him said, no, sir, you don't want to do this. And he said, yeah, let's do it anyway. But yeah, I mean.
Can I just say this? That
Sure.
you can't serve God and money. You can't. And the Bible says it's better to be hot or cold than to be sitting on the fence, because he'll spit you out of his mouth.
Right.
And, when you make money your God, things start to get a little bit, the line starts to get blurred, right?
Well,
and
people can only have one master. And
yes.
if money's your master, you have to get rid of everything else. And
right. And so at what point is that you're sacrificing, your dignity and your soul for some notoriety and some money? It's not healthy and it's not right.
It's at what point does somebody take a step back and say, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And look, if you're into Satan worship and that's your worship, technically it's a religion, fine, you want to go do it, I'm not going to stop you. But to take an international brand where, 95% of people on the planet believe in some kind of deity, that is a good God, not an evil God, and to say, we're going to do this as an international brand, it's one thing if the Bill and Joe shoe store said, yeah, we're going to do this for publicity, but for Nike to do it?
All I can say is yes, and read Revelations, because they started with taking God out of the schools, and now we're taking God out of the country.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see, darkness come to light. And you're seeing it. We're literally seeing it as we speak.
Yeah.
And so, listen, if God is for you, who can be against you? But I would really, encourage this younger generation to really think about what they're promoting, what they're getting their names behind. I'll go the flip side. He's a talented music producer. He's talented, but you got to use it for good. You can't start pulling kids down that rabbit hole, because you can't. It's not healthy.
Yes, and you can believe in anything you want, but if you're believing in a almighty being who says, let's kill everybody and let's do evil and let's hurt people, yeah, you shouldn't be able to sell that to kids. You shouldn't be able to promote that. And I'll give you another example. When I was a kid, in my teens, I used to go into Spencer's Gifts, and it was the best store in the world. You had all those black light posters that when you turn the light off, they glow in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them were Metallica and stuff. That I was a 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Let's put it up on the wall. And my father would call me the heathen because he didn't like the way the posters look. But it was, it was just music or something like that. If you go to a Spencer's now, it's in thirds. The first third is children's games. And I mean like 5-year-old to 10-year-old games, okay? Then the second third is T-shirts and clothing. That, pretty funny T-shirts. The third of the store is an adult store. Not a bookstore. It's an adult store. I mean, with adult toys, adult novelties. I get that bachelorette parties want to go do that. And to some extent, bachelor parties. Usually they get like the little thing that makes penis-sized cubes or something like that. But the third of this store, and there's no barrier, there's no green door that you go behind. Any kid can walk in there and all of a sudden see all of the toys for sex and see all of the outfits for sex with models that are half, if not completely naked. And this is in a mall. And there's a guy who does a joke that it's between like Build-A-Bear and Things Remembered.
Yeah.
And there's this thing. Yeah.
But I don't know where we're headed.
Yeah. But in the Oaks Mall, it's like it's on that outside portion, but it's right next to a clothing store. But you go in there 25 feet and you're in a sex shop.
The whole name of the shoes, Satan's shoes, was enough. But then to add on it, the drop of human blood, so many questions. Where are you getting the human blood from?
First of all, whose blood is it?
Whose blood is it? What does that signify? Why would you put that on there? Right. That's seems it's beyond. It's hard to wrap your head around. But yet it's front page news.
I wonder if it's Lil Nas's blood.
I don't know whose it is. I don't know.
And how did that pass the health department?
I don't know.
Wouldn't you have to test okay,
COVID. We got COVID, and you're selling shoes with blood on it.
It's not COVID. My aunt.
I'm just saying, we're in a pandemic, and you want to sell shoes with COVID on it or with blood on it.
My aunt ran a plasmapheresis center, but basically a blood bank for, they would take blood from people, take the plasma out, resalinate the blood, put the blood back in, and then sell that product to pharmaceutical
Right.
companies that would make testing kits and make everything else. They're just a huge, huge business. There are so many requirements,
I know.
and they're inspected by health departments every 10 minutes and everything else. To sell a product that has human blood, there's no way that doesn't go through 10 or 15 agencies testing that. And is Nike American or is it international?
Well, let us know. We would love to hear from you, our
Yes.
audience, on what your thoughts are on that, and if how you feel about it, and if you want us to put in the comments what you feel about Nike and what they're doing. I know Candace Owens went on and pretty much asked her
Yeah, she had to
followers
boycott
not
Nike,
to it's up to you. I personally I looked at my Nike shoes yesterday morning and I'm like, wow, I can't even put them on at this point right now just because I don't understand where they're coming from. And I'm not telling anybody else how to feel. I'm just there's a point where you've just gone too far.
Yeah. And this is it.
And
Because with the
in my
Kaepernick thing,
opinion,
I still wore them. Said, all
it's
right, I
gone
already
too
own them.
far.
I'm not buying another pair, but I'll wear the ones. Now I'm not even putting the ones I wear on, where I have
Yeah.
them. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some kind of conviction, something, some moral compass, some kind of.
There has to be a line in the sand where you say enough's
Something.
enough.
Yeah. Well.
Well, anyway, we have Andrea coming on,
Yes, Andrea Logan today.
and I'll see you in a few minutes.
So, really excited about my friend Dominique Panassi's new sexymetals.com site. She was my co-star in Beverly Hills Pawn, and we worked alongside each other for 3 years, and I'm just so proud of her. She has a new site called sexy-metals.com. It is a unique estate treasures in gold, platinum, silver, diamond, and gemstone. She has a promo code Cory10. That's Cory10, Cory10. Is the promo code for sexymetals.com, sexy-metals.com, and you will receive a discount. She has everything from engagement rings to mini gold hoops to Cartier. She has estate jewelry. She has memorabilia. I mean, there's just cuffs and chains and earrings and signed pieces, brooches and pins, sterling, charms, necklace and pendants. She's got collars. She just has a ton of beautiful items that come with a story. Most of them come with a story. Look at that Tiffany hammered sterling pendant. Wow, that was beautiful. And they're really reasonably priced. That was like $400 for anything Tiffany for $400 is a great price. And she has a lot of vintage things on her site, and it's just easy to navigate, and it's beautifully designed. So I encourage you to just stop by and see if you could find something for your loved one. It's very reasonable. She has high ticket items and affordable prices. It is sexy-metals.com. I might have to get that little pearl crown charm pendant.
Hey, let's start the show.
Let's start the show. I'm very excited about today's guest.
Who's today's guest, Cory?
My dear friend, Andrea Logan.
Oh,
Yes.
Is she coming in the studio?
She's in the studio right here. You're talking as if she's not even here, but she's an actress, a producer, an author of Perfectly Unfinished, which is a book I read and then passed on to one of my friends who, obviously needed to hear the wisdom and in that book. I love the title of that book. First of all, welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Every time I see you
So
in the
grateful.
market or at wherever we pass into each other, I'm like, how does she do it? She has 3 children and she looks like 10 years younger than the last time I saw her.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Lots of makeup.
No, you don't hardly have anything on. You look beautiful. We're going to dive into a lot today, and I'm very
Yes.
excited.
But first,
Bob has a word that
the
he
word of
likes
the
to.
day.
The word of the day.
I don't have a word. We have a
You
different
have
word every day.
many words. You have a word of the day. Yeah.
This is a word of the day. It's a phobia, and you have to tell us what it is.
Atelophobia.
Atelophobia.
Fear of telephones.
No.
Atelophobia.
Atelophobia. A-T-E-L-O phobia.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know.
I feel very blonde.
I don't know it either, though, and I'm not. So.
If you haven't noticed, I usually tailor them to the specific guests.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So this is something about you that you don't have, that you wish you had.
Oh.
Let me think of you wish you had. No, you probably don't have, but you wish you had. Let me think if I get that right.
The fear of Gerard Butler. No, I'm just kidding.
That's yours.
The fear of
Didn't you write a book?
writing?
No. The fear of imperfection.
Perfectly unfinished.
Yes, that is probably my middle name.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool, Bob. You
The
pay attention.
fear of imperfection.
Yes,
Ooh.
atelophobia.
Atelophobia.
Bob does
Yes.
his homework.
Wow.
You know what, to speak to that though? On my first day of driving Ariana up to Oaks Christian, and I know, you know Oaks Christian, I was behind an Escalade that had a bumper sticker on. And this is why your book resonates with me. One of the reasons. And the bumper sticker said, Christians aren't perfect. They're just forgiven by a God who is.
Amen.
And, we are constantly being refined and learning new lessons. And so I would love to just hear your heart and, why did you pick that title? The book is fantastic. It's full of golden nuggets, I think. I always say that. But it really has a lot of information of your journey and what you've gone through and why you chose that title. But tell our listeners why.
Yeah, so it's perfectly unfinished, finding beauty in the midst of brokenness. And from little on, I think I grew up with a very low self-worth, and I didn't know Jesus. And I just never felt good enough, smart enough, pretty enough. Then to cope with the dysfunction in my home life, I spun out of control in high school with anorexia. And when somebody goes through pain or just life circumstances, they either hurt others or they hurt themselves. That was the route that I chose of self-destruction. And so the strive for perfection, thinking if I could, I was an athlete and I grew up in the Midwest. And so I was in club volleyball, and it started with feeling like I had to be a certain size, not even in Hollywood, in Chicago, in the cornfields of Chicago, but I don't know what club volleyball players wear now, but it was almost like they were bikini shorts. And the coach had us line up, and he had us, and then he would stare at us, front side, turn around, stare at us backside. So from that moment on, and then growing into your body as a teenager, I felt uncomfortable in my skin, and for the first time I felt shame for being big busted. And so that kind of, I think the hiding of feeling like the shame, having an adult man look at me that way, right?
What was the purpose of him doing that?
Well,
Because that sounds creepy.
yep, I don't think I don't think that would even be legal nowadays.
No, he'd be arrested today, yeah.
Right?
I mean, was it him, I hate to say it, was him checking everybody out?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Can I be very blunt?
Absolutely.
So he looked at me straight at my chest and said, "Nice rack."
Oh,
What year around is this?
This was in the 90s.
Okay.
But I am 29. No.
Yeah.
So that spawned shame. Then coping with the my mom had moved away and gotten remarried. And I kind of raised my younger brother. So it was a control thing. And the eating disorder triggered something in me that felt like that made me feel safe. So, but striving for perfection, the more we control something, the more out of control we become. That's like with any addiction. So I have a lot of compassion and empathy for people that struggle with any kind of stronghold, because it's really everything opposite of what we're called to do and to be. So that is, and then I moved to Hollywood, and then started dating celebrities and fell into the world of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and did everything to fill myself up in the world's eyes, and relapsed with an eating disorder. And really it was just a way of, I think, a manifestation of not having my identity in Christ. And then coming to Christ, we think everything's going to be beautiful and rainbows and unicorns, and I had a come to Jesus moment, and I moved to Hollywood to pursue acting without Christ in my life. And it was very dark, and I almost overdosed on drugs, and I had everything in the world's eyes that looked beautiful, but I was struggling because I wasn't full. And then coming to Christ, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. And then by nature, the church puts a lot of pressure on you to be perfect. So then the addiction of perfectionism just changed. And then the eating disorder morphed into bulimia. And so it's just kind of my through line of never feeling enough and trying to cope with it not feeling enough. And it's always going to manifest one way or another until we fully accept it. And this was years ago when I wrote the book of embracing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And because of that, God said, you're not just going to share your story, you're going to share a lot of it, and you're going to show the ugly parts of it, because I want other people to know that we're all the same. We're all God's kids.
I say it all the time. Bob's probably tired of me saying this, but I've been through it too, Andrea. And in that fetal position, in one of my moments of a fetal position, I woke up the next day and I heard God say loud and clear, turn your pain into your purpose. And that's what I love, is that you're doing that and you're willing to share and be vulnerable, because everybody has a test. Everyone has a testimony, right? Or a mess that they turn into a message.
Right.
And the fact that you're willing to do that helps others either identify theirs, embrace theirs, and or have the courage to share it and help someone else, right? Kind of pay it forward. And so I love that you are so honest and candid. And it's not easy. And like you said in the beginning of that, hurt people, right? And if we can heal that pain, then we're less likely to hurt others in the midst of it.
Yes,
Tell me how I look across from you and you tell me all those things, and I know Bob is sitting here too. Where I see this beautiful woman, outwardly and inwardly, but that doesn't mean anything if we're really suffering, from something personal inside. And even that one coach left an indelible mark with what he said at such a young age, right? And so I'm sure you've forgiven him and moved past it, but it's telling the story to help others, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that journey, you are an actress.
Yes.
And you have worked on a ton of projects. You've also written a cookbook. You have a docuseries called The Healing Tribe, it's called The Healing Method.
The Heal Method is the Instagram handle, so it's called Hope for Healing.
Hope for Healing.
Yes.
But there's a Healing Tribe too.
I did that series like 2 years ago.
Yeah, which I watched, which was really great. It was you and your friends, getting together.
Hawaii.
Yeah, and there were parts of that, just so you know, that Bob's dog is barking. Can you control your dog, Bob? Just curious. Maybe we'll have to get Heather Branch.
My dog
didn't poop in the corner. I know. Okay.
Oh shoot! I did see. No, I saw that episode. That was funny.
But that show, The Healing Tribe, actually, I watched it at a time when I was really suffering, and so there were moments of that show that helped me. You didn't even know that. I know.
I love that.
I would just be like curled up, crying, and I'd turn it on and I'd be like, okay, these women are amazing and they can do it. I can do it.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that series and show and what sparked that.
So the one that just came out March 1st, Hope for Healing, is really one of my business partners, Dr. Kimberly Spare. She and I both suffered from severe Lyme disease. So we both love Jesus. We both have incredible faith, and we're mothers, and we can't get out of bed, and we are living this struggle and this secret of feeling like, okay, we know the truth, we know God's love, we have all the tools, and we're dying. So much so that 5 years ago, when my middle child was in kindergarten, I got up one day and collapsed and fell face forward and developed from the Lyme disease a condition called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So my resting heart rate was in the 120s. So every time I would stand up, I would pass out. So I couldn't go to the grocery store. I couldn't go to Target. I would be driving and start to feel faint because my blood pressure was so low and my heart rate was so high. And so you basically pass out to save yourself.
Wow.
And
that was a side effect from the Lyme disease?
It was a side effect. It's almost like just a dysregulation of the nervous system. And I was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on the Lyme literate medical doctors. And I know it's like everybody thinks, oh, it's just a trend. And maybe it's something viral that we've all been going through for years. And now they just put a diagnosis on it. And the testing is more update everything that wasn't there years ago. And I remember the doctor saying, you cannot get, and we were going to go to Hawaii, and he said, you can't get on an airplane without an oxygen tank. And at the time I was in my 30s, and I was like, okay, that was a defining moment in my life where I was like, my faith has to take over. And this is, I think, in the end of my book, Imperfectly Unfinished. And I was like, I'm doing this. I'm pushing this, and I'm walking out in faith, and I'm not going to live this death sentence, because it was every time I went to the doctor, it was, you're sick. I did hyperbaric oxygen. I was doing IVs.
I know. I would see you at the grocery store at Air One or Whole Foods. I saw you all the time, and I would say, hey, how are you doing? You're like, oh, I'm trying to find this, or I'm looking for that, and I'm still not feeling that great. I'd shoot you texts or prayers, and this has been going on a long time.
long time. So
But you've always looked great, so people just automatically assume that you are, because
Right.
it's kind of a silent disease, or if I don't know, for the lack
it
of a
is
better,
because you're
right.
not on chemotherapy. You don't lose your hair. You're not in a wheelchair, although some people are. I would just show up and smile. And that was really so much so that it was like God had to break every area of life and take the walls down, because we're not meant to do life alone. We're not meant to struggle alone in marriages, in relationships, and just in life in general, and health issues. So anyways, long of the short of it, that series is just a passion project of Kimberly's and mine to extend hope and to give people hope, to know that there is a better side to life. You don't have to be in this place forever. And so it has to do with the body, mind, and spirit, because God connected all of us. And so much so that we think if we just heal the physical, then we'll be good. But really, God had to start on my mind. He had to restore a lot of trauma that I had in childhood. He had to restore my thinking, even though we say that he gave us the word of God to, what is the scripture? To renew the mind, washing of the water of the word. And I was like, okay, I get that. But really, like, taking every thought captive and choosing. It doesn't say just like feel it. He never says follow your feelings.
No.
So all that to say is my healing journey did not happen overnight. It's years and years and years of surrendering what I think my journey should look like and saying, okay, God, I'm yours. And so it's really giving people hope, no matter what area of life they're at. And
That's a great point, and you're right. Oftentimes, people say, well, I'm going to say a prayer over you, or I'm going to pray with you, and you're just going to be, and sometimes it does happen that way. It's like an immediate, speaking to addiction too. Some people are cured immediately. They can just go cold turkey. Some people, it takes 30, 60, 90 days in a rehab. It's different for everybody. If I may, you did talk at one point that you had and I quote, a chance encounter with a stranger in your life, and it set a spark in you. You were suicidal at that moment. And that stranger basically said, he said, you asked God if you're real, which I've been there before.
Yes.
I've been on the floor crying, like, if you're real, literally, I need to see you or feel you or hear you or something, right? And you asked God to reveal himself, and a man drove up and said, in that moment, Jesus loves you.
Yep.
That moment gives me chills, because I've had those moments. I continue to have those moments, right? We all have them.
God's there. He's always there if we cry out to him. He's there. And for us, it's a surrendering our will and letting his will be done. But that was at a stoplight. That was my stoplight moment of Sunset in La Brea. And this man in a car pulls up and honks his horn, and tears are streaming down my face. And I was considering, like, I just can't go on. I don't see what tomorrow brings. I don't know what to do. I felt called to Hollywood to be an actress, and I'm alone in this town. I mean, I moved to LA with $350 in my bank account and my green Isuzu Amigo. So I had literally
$50.
I was going to say you had $50 more when you moved.
Oh, did you move with 400?
Yes.
It's right.
Yes.
Right. And
From
I had
small towns.
That's right. And I had my circle was a bunch of celebrities and playmates. So at the end of the day, nobody really had my back, honestly.
Right.
So here I am in this town, living on Sunset in La Brea, like right around the corner from like transvestites and hookers. And here I am just feeling very uncovered. And this man held up a sign which pointed to the radio station. And then he drove away. The bumper sticker said, Jesus loves you. And it was a pastor repeating the words I had just cried out to God. And that was a defining moment. And I was like, I'm getting my butt back into church. Like, okay, God, you see me, you hear me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next, but I'm yours.
And so what happened after that?
So I got saved, but I didn't know what it meant to be saved. And
Can I interject for 1 second? Just ask, were you raised in a home of believers or a faith of any kind?
So I was, my mom was raised Lutheran. We went to a local Methodist church, but the connection to Jesus was never there. I mean, it was kind of just a religious type thing. And my grandparents are very devout believers. So I know that I had people praying for me. I just didn't know that it was about a relationship with Christ. And I didn't know that I could talk to him like I'm talking to you. And that was the big thing. So the dots never connected.
I think that's fair to say because I've read your books and I know you and we've known each other for a long time, but even just sitting here, I'm like, it's like peeling an onion, right? I'm looking at myself going, wow, I was raised in a very faith-filled home, but I didn't understand what it was like to have a relationship, and I took the religion out of it once I went through a lot of my hard times.
Yes.
And now I do see it as more of a relationship. And that looks different for everybody.
It does.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
You love them all the same, but you have different relationships with them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's like God.
It's so true. And God speaks to us all in different ways because we're all wired differently, different personalities and emotional, just the way he creates us. Mm-hmm. And I always say, don't apologize. I always felt guilty for being super sensitive and I feel life in a big way. And I think for those people that are really sensitive, life is more challenging.
I think so too. I'm not supposed to do that.
I have a very quick question.
What is your question, Bob?
This is very superficial. What's the ring you have on your left hand? I've never seen a ring like that.
I don't know.
Is it a self-defense device or it's just a piece of
I
jewelry?
can tell you what it is. Want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah. That's right. What is it?
Well, as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing it's a shield. And if you see, there's a cross in it. Can you see the cross?
Is it really?
Yeah. And so the Bible says to put the armor of God on.
Is the cross really there that everybody sees or just you see it?
It's a cross right here. 1, 2. There's a cross.
Okay.
I've been staring at it going, oh, wow, she has the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and the sandals of peace.
So you knew all that when you bought that piece, right?
I sure didn't. But
here you go.
But I received that, and yes, I love jewelry. I do love jewelry.
I get that because it always fascinated me how a ring that goes to the second knuckle, not the first, how it stays on your hand.
Oh.
Has that flown off every once in a while?
No.
Or? Really? Okay.
It's a shield.
I must.
God's shield doesn't just fly off.
That is true.
It's called the armor.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, to speak to you said you had you were anorexic in your high school days. You wrote a cookbook called Planet Love. I love that. Plant Love. Sorry.
Did you say Planet Love?
I did because
we do love the planet. Yes, and we want everybody saved.
But what I want to say about Andrea is it's like I have one child. She's off to college, and I have a hard time getting things done. This woman has 3 children. You have starred in major movies, and you wrote now your third book.
So this is Plant Love's my second, and then we're on our way to write a third.
That's what I meant, right? Mm-hmm. And this is based on a lot of your findings with being. Are you vegan?
Yes,
you're vegan. And so tell me a little bit about that process, that book.
So it's really interesting because I have always somewhat been plant-based. I tried raw veganism way back in my 20s, and then for me, I don't like to think about food more than I have to because of my background. So for me, I'm like, I just want to do something quick and easy, and I'm not one to, because I think women, we all like our chocolate, and we're emotional eaters and we're emotional beings. And so I really kind of fell out of that. Then I became a personal trainer. And then I got really sick after my second child was born, and every other doctor that I saw said, you need to go on a low-fat, plant-based diet, because when you have Lyme disease, your body, it creates thick and sticky blood, and protein and fat makes the blood thicker. And I just had my third child, and our dear partner from PureFlix, Russell Wolf, passed away from ALS. And we saw the same doctor because he owned his own lab. And he put Russell on this regimen, and then he tried to put me on this regimen, and I was nursing my little one at the time, and I was like, this is so hard. And it was just, because
you have to create more calories when you're nursing.
And I was just starving constantly. And I've been plant-based, but really the interesting thing is I had to get to a point, and I've been fully vegan for about a year now. Last year, we had finalized our divorce, and we sold our dream home. I had to grieve the death of a marriage, the American family. What? Oh.
This happens every show.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, and I'm shocked that I haven't cried. So it's
that's a hard
death.
It is a death.
It's and
I know it is. It's a death.
It's a death. And the blood, sweat, and tears, I think we fought to make sense of what we were walking through. in our lives, in our relationship, in our marriage, and raising children. It's awful. And I say this to everybody, I don't wish,
I know.
we're going on a tangent, but I guess we're going to go there.
We're not, but the truth is, like, you know, I didn't really know.
We don't wish divorce.
I didn't know this, and so I'm like hearing it for the first
yes.
time. Divorce is like a death, and I talk to Bob about this all the time. We're gonna, because I've shared some of my life, and we're gonna have a whole show on it because it's, you know, it is worth fighting for, and I get it. You exhausted every avenue, and I commend you for that. And you know, sometimes things have to die before they can be resurrected, so you just never know what God has.
Yeah,
you know.
That's right.
He's in charge, not us. But I'm sorry he went through that. Bob's going, okay.
No,
Corey, but
no. We're women. We're supposed to cry. We are. Let me tell you, I cried every day for 3 years, and that's how God healed me of a broken heart. Is sharing and being vulnerable, and crying really ugly tears.
There's a medical reason for that.
Is there?
Yeah, a doctor told me years ago. 2 hemispheres of the brain, left and right, and there are pathways where transfer information back between left and right. Females have about 3 times the number of pathways than males do between the 2 hemispheres of the brain. So when you ask a male, you know, what are you thinking? He's usually thinking one thing. He doesn't have the ability to process a decision with emotion. The enormous amount of information that goes back between the female halves of the brain, emotion is one of them.
Yes.
So that's why they see females are so emotional. Yes, because their brain is processing so much information between the 2 halves or hemispheres. Males just simply don't have that. And females always get mad at males saying, well, you can't, we're not capable of thinking the way you think because we can't process that much information. And that's why we're generally focused and we don't do more than one thing at a time. There's a biological fact for that.
Wow.
That just helped us both really a lot.
Yeah.
That's some good info.
Yeah. And because when you
really
said
great info.
I was making this decision by emotions, that's reason women usually make decisions. They've got so much information processed,
Right.
the emotions come right in.
Well, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right?
Yes.
I mean, men are logical, women are emotional. That makes sense.
Is it logical or illogical?
Both.
Okay.
But back to your point, you were going through a divorce, and you this cookbook. We're back to the cookbook.
Yes. So essentially, we had finally we've been going through the divorce for almost couple years, and March 1st. We sold our dream house, had to grieve, put it all together for my kids, rented the house, just the fact of going back to a rental with 3 kids, single motherhood, starting over with my health being so fragile. I was like, I can go down a really scary, ugly path right now. Mm-hmm. In the snap of a finger. And within 1 week, Everson and I were on set doing a film for her. And I think I had 3 days to unpack the house before I had to be on set downtown LA. A week later, COVID hit, quarantine, lockdown. So within a snap, I became
a teacher,
a single divorced homeschooling mother, renting a house, teaching 3 kids.
Wow.
So with that said, I had a choice. And I was like, I'm either going to go down a really dark path and feel sorry for myself, or love myself enough like I never really had, because I always loved others and accommodated everybody else in my life, and I was a people pleaser, still am. That is something God's breaking. But I had to love myself enough to take care of myself. And so one of my best friends, Gianna Simone, she and I were both going through something similar in our relationships. And after homeschooling ended, we got together multiple times a week in the kitchen, started cooking, creating recipes, and healing and laughing and crying, and just... It was like God...
Laughter really is the best medicine.
Oh, my gosh. And he just really used that project to, one, plant love in our own lives and each other. And that's something we want to do for other people, to live a nourishing life, just body, mind, and spirit. Like how to live a life that shows God's love and truth, even when you're going through hard times.
I love that. So it's plant love. So
yes.
Because you're eating plant-based, but you're also planting love.
So it's dual meaning.
It's beautiful. I love that. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And so, we're staying positive. Because
you can go negative.
No, I like to stay positive, but I also know that there are a lot of people that are struggling, and not just with COVID and all the stuff that's going on politically and spiritually and all of these things, racially. It's been a real tough go. Yeah. People don't know what to believe. they don't know where to turn, you know, and I'm always like, turn your TV off
Oh.
and turn up. Just look up.
100%.
Just look
Yes.
up. Don't look down. Right?
Yes.
So my child is off to college, but I can't imagine, I'm speaking to all those homeschoolers right now that didn't plan on being teachers and parents, right?
Yeah.
How has that been for you during COVID? I mean, being a teacher is, you have 3 children of various ages, right?
What are
8,
they-
11,
8, 11,
and 14. So Ethan's at Oaks, and then my girls are at Bethany Christian. So this year, thankfully, well, Ethan just went back to Oaks, I want to say, 2 months ago. The
Oaks
girls-
is doing in-school classing now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Although they have the Zoom alternative, and sometimes my teenager likes to stay home and sleep in. And
Yeah,
do
some
that
of them
route.
are really liking this whole Zoom thing.
Yeah, and that's been challenging. So my daughters are back, but last year, all year, we homeschooled, and I think I lost half the head of my hair. I mean, it was so stressful, and but it was one day at a time. There was a lot of tears, but at the same time, I see the good in it because my children got to heal from adapting to 2 different homes, to mommy and daddy not being together anymore, to being able to recalibrate at home with me. So that was probably the biggest blessing. I mean, I can complain and get negative and talk about all the bad things of like,
But that's the silver lining.
it's a silver lining.
That's how God worked it all
Yes.
for his glory.
Now, you know what you went through trying to homeschool 3 kids? Multiply that by 30, and that's what a teacher goes through with 30 kids in the class.
That's why I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a
also
teacher.
during
They're amazing.
the
They're
beginning
angels.
of a move and a
Yes.
divorce, and so can you talk about that a little bit, just to those people that are going through the same thing right now that may be listening, like just the divorce aspect of it. It's such a deep word, right? And it's for
like-
kids.
Yes.
The main thing I believe is to keep their life consistent and don't drag any of that negativity into it for them, because it doesn't become about you and your ex anymore, or I know you still love him.
Yeah, we do.
So I can say that, but it's not about us adults.
Right.
We have to adult now and make it about our kids and
Yes.
and their journey and do what's best for them. And that's hard because at the same time you're still struggling and you just feel like, oh my gosh, you feel like a raw piece of meat inside, right? Like you're just exposed to the world.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
And it's definitely, that was really hard, especially because David and I are in the public eye, and we got a lot of criticism for walking through something that the church doesn't agree with. And nor did we really ever agree with. But life happens, and personalities and traveling and sickness and chronic disease and different different communication styles and work and just everything in combined. Divorce doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years and years, and I think
For me it does.
Yeah, sometimes it happens very quickly.
Oh yeah, no, for me it does.
Okay,
I'm just like, there's a whole movie in that.
shoot.
Maybe you can play
Oh,
me.
shoot.
I don't know, but no, it's
I would
fine.
Yours
We
is
could
overnight.
do a 2-hour movie,
Yours-
which
your
is about how long
divorce
the
is
marriage
overnight?
lasted.
My first one was 3.5 years later. My second one was 26 days, but that's a whole
Okay,
other
so
story.
I know part of that.
So yeah,
And
but anyway.
thank God we can talk about it and know that has nothing
Oh
to
no,
do with
believe me, I know God saved me, and I'm grateful.
Yes.
But again, to your point, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. But go ahead.
Could have been worse. Could have been 27 days.
Okay, but thanks, Bob.
Shoot. So, anyways, so it really became about letting go of the perfectionism that I wanted to, again, perform and be this little Christian church girl that sits on the pew that just says, oh, everything's great. But you know what? I was a shell of a being in that world when I was married. And there was a lot of outside pressure that I felt like I had to perform and be this certain way, and I couldn't dress a certain way. And because we love God, we are convicted by the Holy Spirit, right? We don't need to be convicted by the trolls on Facebook and Instagram, the ones that are abusive, honestly. Let's just be honest. And being bullied as adults and being bullied as children. So all that to say, I had to throw my needs out the window and hold it together and really care for the kids and know that this isn't, and I don't want to cry, but I felt like I didn't know the true meaning of marriage until it was too late. And so just knowing that the Father's love is unconditional for us. We have unconditional love for each other. I have it for David.
Yes.
And that doesn't always mean happily ever after. And God's plan is the best. And God's plan, and we both know that we prayed, wasn't for us to be together forever. And that's really hard. And I know probably a lot of your audience is going to disagree with me.
But there are a lot that will not, that will understand. It's so hard.
Yes.
I mean, I when I said I do, I meant forever too. Forever. Both times.
For better,
I
for
meant
worse.
Forever. For better, for worse.
Yes.
Yes. And, but it also doesn't mean that God can't restore things. I'm sorry, I'm just saying. Because there is nothing like the original cast in a movie. And can you imagine somebody else playing Jack Nicholson in The Shining? That's a terrible analogy, but I'm just saying, like, you just never know what God has.
You don't know. And at the end of the day, I think we have to trust that my prayer became, your will, not my will, God, your will be done. Because I know what I prayed for and my prayers weren't answered. And I think many of us know, like, gosh, Lord, you didn't answer the prayers that I thought were going to be answered the way I wanted them. But who am I to say that God doesn't have a bigger, better plan, that God's not going to make something more beautiful? And so my perspective has changed. And I think I'm completely not even answering your question.
No,
it's
it's
because
okay.
he doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you need.
That's right. And with that, I probably thank you for wrapping that up, because I can talk and go on tangents and go down the rabbit hole.
No, I love it.
With that, I feel more settled in myself and in my voice than I have ever been. And so when God is in the business of making us whole, sometimes he has to do things that are out of the ordinary. And I feel like I've never been closer to God. Mm-hmm. And I've been single for 3 years. And I've never felt more comfortable in my skin, although I get a lot of hate because people think I might dress a little too promiscuous or this or that. And I carried so much shame in my body, so much so that I tried to kill myself through eating disorders. So for me to feel free in Christ, truly by the grace of God, my works will never save me. I feel like I'm finally getting it in my 40s, but living under God's unconditional love and grace is what has fully given me this freedom to live now. And then honestly, I look at it now, I'm like, I'm grateful I get to have round 2, God. Like, what is round 2 gonna, I'm not gonna lie, I'm lonely. Like, there's times where you're like, gosh, Lord, but I feel strong and healthy and whole by myself without anybody by my side except the Lord, and being a mama. Now, I have bags under my eyes. I'm tired.
I don't see them.
Oh, no, girl.
I see nothing.
I do. But
I'm like, she looks so good.
But God, we don't know sometimes how strong we are until we don't have anybody to turn to.
Oh, I tell you,
You know?
that's so true. Yeah, I do. I do now.
So here we are in round, are you in round 3? Are you in round 2?
I'm my second act. Yeah, no, I'm actually really, really happy and grateful. And I just wake up every day just like, grateful that we have what we have. And
Amen.
It's I had stuff that I grew up with too that, it took me a long time to get through. But I really feel like we'll be perfectly unfinished until we die and go to heaven.
The day we meet him.
He'll just keep
That's right.
refining us, and you'll keep learning lessons, you'll keep going through, and you can pass those tests that you get again, or you can go through it again if you want to. He'll let us, right? But it's much like our children. We teach them.
Yes.
The Bible says, teach your children the ways of the Lord when they're young, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. And that is, we've done.
Yep.
But, there are seasons in my life where I have departed. And I've said, wait, hang on. I'm getting off the road here.
Yep.
And I love Carrie Underwood. She's like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. It's a lot of falling down and getting back up. That's the walk that we walk through. And if we're truly honest and vulnerable, we're all
Yucky.
off the track
Yeah.
at some point in our lives, because we're vessels that want to be loved and heard and seen and adored and cherished, right? And sometimes we see things that we're like, okay, this does not mirror the image of Christ. And that's like our job to get back on track, which is my job with my children, because let me tell you, it's a whole different ballgame raising them nowadays.
Oh, yes. I want to touch on one point that you said, that people can tend to be to troll and judge. And, I know I'm not trying to preach. I'm just going by what I believe and what the scriptures that come through my mind in those moments. And that's, take the plank out of your own eye before you poke it into your brother's or your sister's. And, it's true. We really don't have the right to judge one another. And sometimes, oftentimes, when I have in a certain situation, God will say either then or maybe a couple weeks or a couple months or a couple years down the road, I'll end up going through what I judged.
I was just about to say that.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. So just be still.
That's right.
Right? And not judge others, because we don't know what they're going through.
We don't. And that's, we're called, God is the judge. What did Billy Graham say? It says, God is the judge, the Holy Spirit convicts, and it's our job to love. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because we are not the judge. And so many times I think I'm like, I would never do that. And you walk down and God's like, really? Because you're human, just like this one right here and this one. I mean, we're all vulnerable. And let's just be honest, there's a light and a darkness. I mean, the darkness knows exactly the moment when we're uncovered and when he'll come in. And
when to strike.
That's right.
Right? When
Yes.
to strike. Bob's like, yes. I'm
having flashbacks
Yes.
of my high school and college.
Are you? Oh, sorry, we bringing you back to flashbacks? Oh, Bob.
Back to
Bob's
the
all
Christian
silent
brothers.
over there. So thank you for saying that's just, I mean, even going there and talking about that has got to be hard. I know, because I wrote a whole song about it.
Yes, and it's, I mean, amazing.
But I'm just saying, like, if you can turn it around for God's purpose and help someone, like I've said a million trillion times, which is what we're about here at the Coriolis Effect, right? Bringing peace to situations. Doesn't mean we don't go through it, or we're not going to walk on hot coals, or get burned or shocked, or
Life is hard.
Yeah, it's
And
hard.
he says it's going to be, count it all joy. And when he says count it all joy, for we will go through great trials, I'm like, excuse me, God? Like, no. There's times that you don't want to count it all joy. And there's seasons where you have to choose it. And every day I have to choose it. Because we're all going through something. Let's just be honest. And we're not promised tomorrow.
No. And Terry Copley, she was on the show and she talked about the scars in heaven and how the people that didn't have many wanted more.
Wow. I'll give some people my scars.
They wanted more, but I'm just saying, like, that took me down. I was crying over that one because I thought, wow, we've all have the scars and it's really difficult. So tell me now what you're working on, because I know you're not just, yes, you're a teacher and you're a mom and tell me what you're doing. You blow my mind. You're so creative and you really, God gives us gifts and they're irrevocable, he says, and you are certainly using yours.
Aww.
Yeah, so it's
sweet.
really
Thank
awesome
you.
to see. What are you working on?
Kimberly and I are creating an organic vegan vitamin. So that's something that we've been trying to source and resource. It's very hard to find actually 100% organic ingredients because she helps the chronically ill in her practice. She has her own practice in New Jersey. So that was a God thing, how her and I met. So when I was going through everything and homeschooling, it was Kimberly and Gianna, and I had these two incredibly healthy, vibrant, positive women by my side, and I was like, okay, I can't, like, I'm being sharpened, and this is beautiful, but it was so God. And so we're creating a vitamin and skincare line. So we've been studying
like
that.
a supplement or?
So a supplement,
Pill
multivitamin.
you would take.
Yes,
That's
but it's a
vegan.
powder form because it's going to be all fruits, 100% organic fruits and vegetables. So it's going to be plant-based. And for the children that hate fruits and vegetables, like one of my children, it will be something that can cover all of that. And then also,
Do you hear my stomach growling? It sounds so good that my stomach's like, no, that's really great. And
Yeah.
powder actually is better because your body digests it quicker.
Yeah,
It doesn't go
right?
through so much to try to break down the capsule and then get all the ingredients.
The filler, the chemicals, everything. So that's what we're working on. Also, it's called Shine Organic. So we're working on a skincare line. Gianna and I are doing PR for the cookbook. And then I have my own production company called Prodigal Blonde Pictures. So really with film, my heart has always been to do projects that don't just preach to the choir, and there's a place and a time for that. But my stomach just growled too.
We're talking food.
Yeah, spiritual food. But really to show, because my life, I was a wild child. I raised myself and I did everything under the sun that I could and realized, oh, wow, I did everything I could. And I ran back to the feet of Jesus and said, okay, God, I'm yours. And so for me, my heart is to reach people in a way that shows incredible characters, incredible story, but also doesn't glorify sin, but also shows a message that brings hope to others. And so that's.
Do you have projects in the work?
I have scripts that I'm reading, and then also I am a tomboy, so I love action, so drama, action films, and
I've seen your action films. They're awesome. I'm like, oh my God, go Andrea.
When we're done, we'll have a talk. If you look to the poster of Motivation, which Cory was in.
And my friend Bill, and he's one of the
Bill
producers.
Wishy. He knows Bill.
Yes.
And to your left is Heaven. There's a guy, Angus, who produces these, writes and
probably
produces
knows
these
Angus
movies. Do you know Angus Benfield?
I feel like I've met him. Oh, good
I mean,
old
you know
Eric.
David White. He's
Yes.
he's pure
Brittany
flicks
Mann
peeps.
used to be my nanny. Look at that cast.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
But
so
he's
funny.
got 3 movies he's trying to get out there. But they're not like overly top faith-based, but they're all good-natured films and just what you're saying. So we'll have a talk.
Okay, sweet. Very good. So,
She's the biggest there is in the Christian
I
film.
That's why we had her in here.
Just saying.
Just to get her in touch
Like,
with
I'm
Angus.
like,
the rebel. I'm
Yeah.
the rebel. I'm the rebel.
no, you're not a rebel. And you know what? The thing is, like, this is the thing. I do talk about God a lot, and I love God, and I love Jesus, and I was raised that way. But none of us, what does it say? He who casts the first stone be without sin.
Yep.
Come on. All of us, right? We all have gone through this. We all have a mugshot. Some are on the front cover of People, Time. Some aren't. Some never make it.
Right.
Right?
And I think the shame withholds our coming to Christ as, I mean, I have a sign in my home that says, come as you are. And then I have a doormat that says, come as you are.
Yeah.
Because that is what,
It's a Nirvana song.
that's right. That used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
But that's really what God says. I don't care what you look like. I'm going to dust you off.
Yeah.
And you're mine.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called to do as believers.
Yes.
Not sit there and gossip.
No.
And slander.
We're supposed to be iron. Iron sharpens iron.
You know,
Right.
You say that all the time. I just heard on a bunch of TV shows them say, don't you use a rolling stone to sharpen iron? When you have a sharpener, it's a wheel that keeps turning.
We'll talk after the show.
But it's not. You don't use iron to sharpen iron. You use
I'm
a
gonna
stone
break-
or a
I'm gonna
break
sharpener.
it down for you.
It is a scripture.
No,
But
it
if
definitely
I-
is a scripture. I'm saying, but that's not how you sharpen a sword. But okay. Actually, leather sharpens iron,
Okay, you're right.
and a stone will sharpen iron. So yeah, so
Don't you
I've never
love
seen
Bob?
an iron
Yes.
sharpener.
I know.
Bob,
he's
you have
hilarious.
very nice teeth, Bob.
Why, thank you.
Yes.
Oh my-
I'm a teeth person. Are you? I like.
You know how I got these?
Good. How?
I play hockey. So the ones I used to have are not there anymore.
I
Are those
see, Bob.
veneers? Are they?
They are veneers. 8 veneers. I had this tooth knocked out. This tooth knocked out. I have some punk kid who lifted his stick
Oh,
into my
no.
face.
Well done on the.
And
We got you got
Yeah.
a good set of teeth.
Just
so-
out of curiosity, Andrea, since we're looking at Bob, and
No.
nobody else sees Bob because he won't let
Yes.
me put a camera on him.
no,
Who-
no,
That's
no.
true. That's
Okay,
true.
here's the deal.
But let me
We
t-
started this
can I-
podcast.
We're gonna try to set Bob up with
And I
someone.
No,
said-
he's married. His
Oh,
wife's
I'm married.
downstairs.
Okay.
But yeah, when we set up this podcast, I said, I have a studio. I said, but I only have 3 cameras. And Corey said, well, all 3 have to be on me. I said, okay, well, if we ever buy
I
a 4th
didn't say
camera, they
that.
can put it on me.
I don't think you said that.
Thank you, Andrea. She
You
knows
would-
me.
she
I
would
wouldn't
never
even.
say
It's not
that.
about
And
me.
the people can't hear you because you're not anywhere near your microphone.
She would.
There you
Say
go. She would
never say that.
Okay, there you go. But just out of curiosity, what celebrity do you think he looks like?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hunchback of Notre Dame. Soap Street.
Yes, it is interesting because I walked in and I was like, goodness, you look like somebody.
Right. When I say it, you're gonna know who it is. Okay, won't wait too long because it's a podcast. People will turn the channel by now. But Steve Carell.
I was just gonna say The Office.
Right? The
yes,
Office, yeah.
The Office. And
Which-
my son has watched that series
Really?
12 times.
Which was very good, as I told Corey, that I was 40 years old when that movie came out.
Were you?
And I was the 40-year-old virgin for 10 years to everybody. Yeah.
Did you get married at?
No, I got
Oh.
married a lot younger, but they all called me the 40-year-old virgin for years.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was gonna say The Office.
Yeah.
Mr. Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you,
And I have my
Michael.
Steve Carell story, which I said on another episode, but I was his body double for 30
Michael Bob
seconds.
Scott. Bob Michael Scott.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Yeah,
but his name was Michael Scott in The Office.
Character name was Michael Scott.
Oh, right. Right. That's so awesome. Andrea. So take me
Yes.
through, because I sit across from you, and it's very hard to believe that. I mean, you literally look like you could be my daughter. That you have 3 children.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so take me through just like a day in the life of your regimen.
The girl who looks 30 can be the girl who looks 31.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
You're-
okay, so just
Did I
to
say
your...
that right?
By the
Did I
way,
get
yes.
that right?
Yes.
You look the same as when I met you. When did I meet you?
Oh my gosh, it's been
12 years.
a long time ago.
She's got
a long,
that
long time ago.
Rob Lowe, John Stamos disease, but they don't age.
What is? I need the
That's not
secrets.
true.
I think it's this.
You're so sweet. My
That's the
mom
water
would-
you're drinking.
Yes, true, exactly. But I want to give you a little fun fact right now.
Yes,
In the
tell me.
beginning of COVID, I decided I was going to go vegetarian.
Okay.
I was like, I'm doing this. I've got time. I can do this. I gained 15 pounds.
Because did you eat more carbs?
Yes. And let me tell you, I'm still losing it. And at one point, my best friend, and what is...
It's like Miss Perfect Body.
No,
You're
no, no.
supermodel.
No, but
Excuse me,
hold on.
supermodel.
Well, I have Spanx on and
Supermodel.
girls. But I'm just saying, like, and I have a point. My friend, who, faithful are the wounds of a friend, she kind of looked at me and she was so sweet. I love her dearly. And she's like, that diet might not be working for you.
You should have a hamburger.
So what were you eating?
So I was eating way too... you have to know what you're going to do when you enter into a lifestyle change like that.
Because
And
did you feel restricted?
I felt restricted, yes, and I also was like, well, I was actually really hungry because I wasn't getting enough protein, and so I would go grab, the nearest quick sugary snack or something that would, and then it just ballooned. It just like all of a sudden hit me one day.
My wife has a cookbook. Never trust a skinny Italian chef.
Because they don't eat.
They don't know how to cook. If they're skinny, they don't know what they're doing.
Well,
By the way, not to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt. My daughter went vegan about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And she said, I'm vegan. And I was like, great, I'm going to take you to Whole Foods and I'm going to teach you what a vegan is. And about 2 weeks later, we were down in Hermosa Beach and at Ruby's. I saw her and she was just scarfing out a hamburger. I said, what are you doing? I said, I thought you were vegan. She goes, well, I'm vegan unless I'm hungry. And then I go back to being vegan. And she was like, she didn't want to be vegan. Everybody was talking about being vegan. But
well, there's some body types that it just doesn't work for, and so I had to get more protein. And so tell me, because I know you know a lot about health and what to eat and what's good for you, and there are books like it. There's Eat Right for Your Blood Type. There's certain things that people do for your own body type.
Yes. So I will say Gianna follows a whole food plant-based diet, and I essentially do as well. I do a little bit more of the medical medium protocols where I do the celery juice, and Gianna does that as well. But there's not a one-size-fits-all in every diet. So if you love something, there's replacements. Thankfully, like there's the Impossible Burger. My son actually,
I love that.
He ate that. I don't personally like it because I don't eat a lot of oil. I also don't have a gallbladder, so I don't tolerate high fats, never have. Even when I wasn't vegan, I couldn't eat I just would be doubled over in pain. I was gluten intolerant since 1998. So for me, food was always this battle. 1, eating disorders. 2, then I had all these sensitivities. So for me, veganism just makes sense. And then it's really a journey of, I feel like where you're at in life. And so for me, I don't think twice about it. And it's really about getting the hydration. And a lot of times people are hungry, but they're just really dehydrated. That's and you know what? I even noticed just in this last month, I'm like, I moved. I'm still unpacking boxes with the last 4 weeks. I'm like, I haven't been hydrating. I notice it in my skin. I notice it in my energy. So with that, so there's complete proteins. There's even every food has protein. So that is like even, I don't want to say brainwashed, but we are brainwashed by
So the coconut ice cream that I eat all the time has protein?
Oh, that I don't know. I'd have to see what brand it is.
Coconut Bliss.
Okay, that's really good. Yes, it's really good. So, excuse me. So I always say start with one meal. Don't go all in. For me, I think why it took my journey so long is because I was like, if I screw up, it's all or nothing. And then I'm going back, and it's like we have the choice to do one meal at a time, whatever we're putting in our mouth in the next meal. And it's being prepared. So it's a lot of fresh, high fiber fruits and vegetables, because if you look at a pound of grapes, that are whatever, how big, and then a pound of raisins, or you look at oil, which is 100% saturated fat. So I really had to educate myself, but not out of fear, out of like, I want to know what I'm doing, because for me, it was physical because of the Lyme disease, the chronic illness, the energy. So I do have more energy levels. I probably still drink too much matcha and coffee. A lot of those people don't, right? And now I just have lost my taste for animal. Like, this is interesting. This is not everybody's journey. For me, going through the death of a divorce, being vulnerable, being completely pruned to the bone, where I'm like, I can't go to anything but Jesus. I am so uncomfortable. Like nothing, even if I ate 10 burgers, like nothing would satisfy me. And so for me, it came down to being so surrendered that I was like, food is food, and it's not gonna, it might taste good at the moment, but I'm like, it's not gonna nourish me the way. So I just had to switch. I had to switch my thinking around food. And a lot of people, they just want to go and do their thing and go through McDonald's and do what, and there's no judgment. My kids love their French fries. There's no judgment. There's no perfection. There's nobody that eats perfect. But it's a journey. For me, it was like a spiritual journey in the sense of connecting that. And then with the protein thing, like quinoa is a complete protein.
I love quinoa.
There's a ton of protein in broccoli and spinach. Sometimes there's whole food greens powders. And it's really, I would say, well, I'll give you a copy of my cookbook for free.
Excited.
I'm going to give it to you.
Gosh.
Because it's really about replacing. I mean, I still eat some processed foods. Sometimes because if you just completely cut out everything, you're going to end up coming back and binging
really
on
hard.
Reese's Pieces or whatever it is. You know, I'm a sweet tooth. I'm not a big.
I have 18 of them in my mouth.
Correct. So and we have like these delicious brownies that are made out of.
That was supposed to be a silent one to Cory. You weren't supposed to look over and see that. There's my note.
Well, there's a code word that we're supposed to be saying today because I'm giving away this dress. It was my Beverly Hills Pond
You look
dress.
golden. You look golden.
Yeah, you're so sweet. It's going. It's one of 5 dresses and it's going. And so the actual code word is dress.
Okay.
That's my wink of the dress. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. Bob's correcting me. So back to your point.
Yes. Did that help at all? Or
It
no?
did help, but I want to know just specifically, quickly, what your routine is. Like, you wake up and have a hard-boiled egg, or do you wake up and have a protein shake and then a salad for lunch and then a protein for dinner? Because I'm looking at you, and it would not ever guess that you have 3 children.
Oh, I have a lot of skin. Thank you. I have a lot of stretch marks.
You look amazing.
And so I'm like a late night eater. So I naturally intermittent fast, but if I'm hungry in the morning, I eat in the morning. But so typically I go, which a lot of people thrive on light to heavy. If I were to get up and have, even before I was a vegan, and have steak and eggs or like, I'd be like, ugh, like that does the opposite. So for me, I have to go light to heavy. So I ease into my day. I'll have either like green tea, matcha, and I drink oat milk or oat creamer as opposed. I used to be addicted to the nasty French vanilla coffee mate.
Oh, yeah.
It's so disgusting.
It's actually very good.
It's so
Yeah.
bad, but it's so good.
I don't drink coffee. I put it in tea, but it changes the whole.
Oh,
I don't need sugar. I don't need anything.
It's everything. It was everything, and
It is everything.
Yeah, I couldn't get off of that. So anyways, I do oat milk now, and I'll have coffee, and I do that, and then I'll do like a greens juice, celery juice, or an all greens juice, and either like a piece of fruit, or if I'm hungry, I'll do oatmeal. And we have a really good recipe for oatmeal. Also, chia pudding. Chia has protein.
I love chia.
Flax has protein.
What's a recipe for oatmeal? It's oats and water.
Well, no.
Because
No, you don't know how to
oatmeal is
make.
the only. If you get the Quaker oats and you look at the ingredients, 100% oats. Right? You put oats in one. You throw a raisin in there, maybe, but.
No. You can do oat milk. You can do peanut butter. You can do almond butter. You can do shredded coconut, chocolate chips that are vegan. Oh, we have
nibs.
Cacao nibs. Yeah,
Talk to my wife after this.
for sure. So
My wife's an
smoothie.
amazing cook, by the way. She cooks.
Actually,
everything
she
and
is, because I had her fish. It was really so good.
Yeah, so that's like my morning is
Okay.
I just try to do simple, and then sometimes if I'm on the road, we have a really good recipe that has 3 ingredients: banana oat cookies. So it's oats, bananas, and cinnamon. Bake them in the oven.
Wait, you posted that, and I made those. Those are good. You posted that recipe.
Did you?
Yeah, those are good. Those are simple
And you can
easy.
add peanut butter. You can add nuts. Like if you need something heartier, you can add nuts. You can add chopped nuts, nut butter. So like that right there is protein. And then for lunch, I'll do like nori rolls. So like seaweed. I love seaweed. My kids think I'm so weird. And I do a bunch of just greens. Like I'm a big greens girl. And I always say you don't have to love vegetables in the beginning, but just take a bite or just have a side. You know, start to incorporate half your plate with either fruit or
Colorful
greens.
foods.
Colorful foods. And I know it's not fun and easy, but I guarantee you, like you can retrain your palate. You can.
You can, and you are what you eat, really. I mean, you wouldn't
Yes.
put sugar in your gas tank.
Well,
No, you
for
wouldn't.
me,
But you
processed
wouldn't put gas
sugar,
in your
I'm
tummy.
just cranky. I'm like, I go up and down and I see it in my kids and I let them, my kids aren't vegan and they live with, their daddy half part of the time and me part of the time. And so I have to, and I never want to put that on them. That has to be their choice. It's
Right.
It's their journey. And my son loves In-N-Out. And I'm like, gosh. But I have to love them. Again, unconditional love. It's like you can't always agree with everything everybody else is going to do.
And they'll go through their own journey. My grandpa was diabetic, and then diabetes was in my family, and I was borderline diabetic years and years and years ago. And I went to the doctor, and they said, pretty much, you're borderline diabetic. And I said, well, what do I do? And they said, don't eat sugar and have a nice day. So I went and got this book called Hypoglycemia, the Disease Doctors Won't Treat.
Oh, wow.
And it had a whole plan in there. And I followed this plan for like 4 months. I never felt better in my life.
What was the plan?
It was, protein for breakfast. For borderline diabetic, protein's good for you. It was a lot of, I would have like tuna and broccoli for lunch. And in between, I would eat like a handful of almonds because you have to keep your blood sugar stable.
Yes.
And
No matter
oftentimes
what.
diabetics think that, I got to grab a piece of sugar to keep my blood sugar stable. No. If you keep it stable and consistently, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying if anybody's listening and they're diabetic, I'm not trying to tell you how to live. But I was hypoglycemic, so there's a difference. But
were you passing out?
Yes, I did pass out.
Yeah.
And so
blood sugar, that's scary.
yeah, it was really scary. So I just know the effects of diet. And, my grandpa lost both of his legs to diabetes, had them both amputated. So, probably a lot of it could have been avoided with eating the right way. But he was a beautiful Italian man and he loved his foods, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I digressed. But I appreciate the fact that you have taken the time with your friends to write a cookbook called Plant Love. And I can't wait to get it and see it.
I will send you a copy.
Andrea, it's like, I could talk to you for like 10 more hours.
I know.
And we're going to get together after
I
this.
feel very selfish, by the way. I'm like, I need to know more about what's...
No, are you kidding me? This is why I
Yes.
love you. And I can't thank you
We'll
enough for coming today.
where you interview Cory.
But
Okay, good.
oh yeah, that'd be fun. Huh? That'd be so much fun.
Before that, let's do this.
We're going to play a game and then I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Oh,
and it's kind of fun.
okay.
We do it every show.
Okay.
So,
Name the 8 reindeer.
Dasher, Dancer... Is it Donner?
that's
Donner,
3.
Blitzen, Comet, Cupid,
2 more.
Rudolph.
That's the 9th. 2 more.
Blitzen.
He said Blitzen.
Dasher,
Sounds like Blitzen.
sing the song.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer,
Right.
Vixen.
Yeah. Hey, that's not bad. You got it in 25 seconds. Took Cory 3.5 minutes. And she sang a song.
And I was like, there is Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen. Say, if you can, give me 3 words to describe yourself.
Sitting, awake, and curious.
Not you, Bob.
Oh, sorry.
We have a guest.
Oh my goodness. Introverted. 3 words to describe myself? I don't like describing myself.
But this is where you get to receive who you are. You're beautiful and funny and smart and kind and like how others see you. I get it, but like it is hard to
It's
describe
how you see
ourselves.
yourself. People don't like doing that, but
It
that's
really
why we
is
make them do
hard.
it.
Oh gosh. I mean, I would say merciful.
Mm.
And sensitive.
Those are good ones. Merciful, that's beautiful. That's a good one. Okay, now, this is the game that I don't really like to
What do
play.
you say about positive?
I really like to play this game.
You've taken the Rorschach test. Have you ever taken the Rorschach test?
I have no idea what that
The
is.
inkblot test.
It's an inkblot test.
We're going to show
Is
you
it where,
inkblots.
what do you see when
Yeah.
I show you the picture?
First thing you see as quick as you can.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah. And we've done this with a lot of people.
Same images.
Goodness gracious. Well, that looks like, hold on. Let my eyes reset. Oh my God.
We have 5 of them, by the way.
What? 5? I mean, it kind of looks like, these guys look like the Grinch.
Yes, they do. I can see it through there.
Yeah. Oh, this one looks a little dark.
This one always reminds me of a pumpkin.
Yeah, I
Why
see
don't you just
a
give her the answer?
bat, and a pumpkin.
Or if you see this, it looks like little elephants.
Yeah, it does look like
playing,
elephants on a little, a top
See what I
sitting in the
see?
middle.
Do you see the little
You
elephants?
can't do that because in the camera can't see it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it looks like I can see like a kind of a bat and then a weird jack-o'-lantern.
Yes,
That looks creepy.
yeah. Can we have like a heart-shaped one?
No, because then people say heart.
These are the same elephants.
Okay, it looks like somebody playing patty cake. with a weird. It's like a very ugly bird playing patty cake.
Isn't that funny? Because a lot of people say patty cake on that one.
Yes, yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. None of us like this one.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
What the heck is this? That looks like
A uterus?
yes.
Stop giving them the answers.
sorry.
No, but I also
Right
see
at it.
like this weird moose right in the middle.
Oh, interesting.
I
Yeah.
know.
So and this is a lot
Is there
of
a
fun.
right answer to any of
No,
this?
there
There
isn't.
are no
No.
right answers.
Oh, this is just a.
Only wrong ones.
Yeah, I can see a possum's face right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. Last question, Andrea. I'm gonna get rid of this game at some point in our career
You're so
together.
negative.
But
I'll
no,
tell you
I'm
what,
not
after we
too
get
negative.
25, we'll switch up the pictures.
No, after we get 25, we're getting a whole
25
new game
episodes?
I pick. Whole new game I pick. Yeah, we're
Okay.
almost there.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
We're at 18.
That's
We just
impressive.
launched 18 today. We're
Yeah.
aired 18, dropped.
Yeah.
What do they call it when they released?
Yeah.
What drop is music, release is episode.
Yeah.
Where's the camera, by the way?
There's 3.
1, 2, 3. First of all, a good actress always knows where the camera is.
Oh.
This isn't a set. This isn't a set.
Honestly, though, I could because of the ring lights.
Yeah.
Right.
I just now.
Well, they are blinding us. I know. It's
I just
so
now
much lighting.
see the cameras. I promise you, because I was so
I believe
Focus
you.
on
enthralled
me.
in
She's
this
focused.
beautiful supermodel
Because
right
you
here.
kept looking at her and she keeps looking into the camera.
Yes.
Bob likes to harass. Trust me, I deal with it on a daily basis.
Well, I know where you live, and I live in
you-
Westlake also.
Yeah.
So
Corey, you invited me, so being polite not to accept.
I do. I probably should work on that. I'm gonna go to my counselor now after the show.
Wait, I just got threatened by a beautiful woman. I know where you live. I'm going to come over your house. Oh, no.
I'm gonna come hang out with your wife, and we're gonna
Well,
cook.
no, no.
She's
And I'm
so
gonna
great.
Wait a minute. That's
And
an
I'm
oh,
gonna
no.
You're gonna love Irina.
Yeah.
She's very sweet. She's very, very
I'm gonna
sweet.
make some oatmeal cookies and some chocolate
She'll
cake.
teach you how to make borscht.
Oh,
She's from
She's
Ukraine.
from Ukraine.
She'll teach you how to make,
Gosh.
when you open the refrigerator and you see a big pot and a fish head's looking right at you.
Oh, that's
in the
scary.
soup. Yeah. Teach you how to take pig knuckles and make jello.
Okay, yeah, I'll pass.
Pass on that one.
Pass.
maybe?
I think I'll pass. Gelatin. I mean, oof.
My last question for you.
By the way, did
Even
you
though
know
I
gelatin comes from the bones of animals?
I did.
Okay.
I sure did.
So you can't eat jello?
No.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Absolutely is. I did.
in fact did.
Okay, so when I was younger, I was on a swim team, and everybody who went to the swim team, you'd bring a box of that jello, the powder.
Yes, the gelatin.
And as soon as the swim match is over, you would just down the box of jello straight out of the box.
Why?
Why?
I don't know, it was just pure sugar, because it was the 70s. And
The powder you would down.
yes,
Oh, that's
every
like
kid
eating
did it.
Kool-Aid
And
powder.
Yeah, no, but it was sweet, because it was 100%,
It's
no,
like
maybe
pixie.
80%
You're
sugar.
like eating.
Yeah, it's like
pixie
drinking-
sticks.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But all I remember is every parent on the way to the swim meet, oh, we got to stop by the store and get your box of jello. It was what every kid ate.
Unless it
And
was
we had
for the-
90 kids on the swim team, so it was just what you did.
We all ate it because we thought our nails and hair was going to grow.
Right. I was gonna
We
say
did.
unless it was for your joints because you had sore shoulders from
Maybe that was it.
doing
Maybe
the.
they knew it was animal bones and they,
Yes, Bob.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay, this is a silly question.
Yes.
But I love it. We love to know who your celebrity crush is.
I have two.
Oh, I love it. It's just two. Dose. Okay, Uno.
Brad Pitt.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Both very fine actors, by the way. I'm sure a lot of that is that you like their craft.
I like their craft. I don't think they really are on. I don't think they're on fire for Jesus.
Yeah.
So we got to work on that.
Yeah,
But
That'll happen.
they are incredible actors.
they are.
No, really.
I think one of my favorites of Brad Pitt was Legends of the Fall.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
so
yes,
good in
yes.
that.
When you see a great Brad Pitt movie, two of them. Seven, what's great, that's all.
Yes,
Horrible.
very
Seven was
dark.
great.
But Moneyball.
Yes.
I think Moneyball
I
is his best
cried.
performance.
I cried. Oh, it was so good. I cried in that one.
Brad Pitt, if you're listening, we would certainly like to get you here on the show. Maybe you could just,
After we get Jack
say
Black
hi
one more
to.
time.
Hi, Brad.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever met either one of them?
I haven't. I would probably pass out. I would probably fall over.
So really
trip.
quick funny
I'd
story.
probably trip on myself or on
They
a
like
stair.
that. Guys like that.
They do, and this is to my friend, my best friend Tara, who I went to grade school with. I've known her for over 40 years. We were at Sunset Social Club.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you know that. That was back in the day when all of those places were, you
Yep.
know, fun. And her celebrity crush was Judd Nelson. And he walked into the room, and a friend of ours introduced him to her, and it was like a scene from a movie. She literally opened her mouth and she slid back on the wall, flipped the light switch on. The whole place goes up in flames of light. And she goes, oh shoot. She was trying to say hello and nothing would come out of her mouth. And I was like watching this going, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I watch this and go, yes, this is hilarious? Or do I help my best friend? And I just grabbed her by the arm and I was like, come with me. She couldn't get it out. So for some reason, celebrities really do. People really respond. It's a visceral reaction.
Story with
It is.
Ian.
I want to know yours. Is that yours? I want to know.
Celebrity crush?
Gerard Butler. Well, it used to be. That's what you said when I first met you.
Okay, so Gerard Butler physically.
It's more like you look nothing like Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler is my physical type. I kind of like that.
Dark, tall, dark, and.
Well, he's kind of blonde, but tall, kind of pudgy.
Gerard Butler's blonde?
He's not?
No, he's not blonde. He's dark-haired.
Dark-haired?
Yes.
He's dark.
Oh,
Are you sure you're talking about Gerard Butler?
I'm talking about Gerard Butler. P.S. I love you. That kind of look, that scruffy, like, facial hair, kind of chubby. I don't like a really worked-out man. I like him a little bit, like
soft?
a little chubby. I'm going to go with Duck Dynasty look or Gerard Butler, yeah. But
Short,
he's not...
bald, overweight, have you said?
But, you know, really, I like...
Mother in the basement.
Oh, gosh. Wow. This is going dark.
It's your perfect match.
Holy cow, Bob. Slow down.
Dungeons and Dragons fan.
No. I like the Duck Dynasty look. And I like the Duck Dynasty guys.
You do.
Did you see
I
the look on
love
her
them.
face when you said that?
I do, because you know what?
What was my look?
A large part of the...
I would never think that. That's
I
why.
do. I really do. And a large part of that, though, goes not just with the physical aspect, but the fact that they're all, you know, so devoted and wonderful. And I mean, that's a large part of it
family
for
mans.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been
Family
through
man.
so much.
Family
yeah.
men.
Family men. Yeah, they are family
They
men.
are.
Yeah. And you know them. You know them because they worked on movies that you guys have produced. So anyway, those are some of mine. But when I first moved to Hollywood, mine was Johnny Depp.
Oh, yes.
Back then.
Yes. I mean,
Sorry,
21
Johnny.
Jump Street.
Sorry, Johnny. And I knew him, and we used to see him all the time, and yeah. And
Was he just a girl's, like, was he just a wild?
I'll be honest, completely honest about Johnny Depp right now. And Johnny, if you're listening, you know who you were and you are, and I support you because he was truly, honestly, I was not prompted to say this. He was really, truly one of the kindest, most generous men I know. He, I don't even know if he would get mad at me for saying this story. I don't even know. Think he knows I know. But he used to have a club called the Viper Room.
Yeah, of course.
A very well-known club.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a guy that worked the front door there. I can't remember his name, but he was the sweetest guy. And Johnny bought him a bike to let him, so he would walk to work, and Johnny bought him a bike so he could ride his bike to work. Yeah. And those are the things that really nobody knows. And he would do stuff like that all the time. And, you know, too much is given, much is expected, right?
Yes.
And he would just do acts of kindness like that all the time. And no one knows that. And I just really feel bad about what he's going through now because he really is a good person. He is. But anyway, I digressed. I told you I
love him. He's great. He's
yeah,
great.
He's great. Yeah. So, Andrea Logan, I love you. I can't thank you enough for coming in today. You're just so beautiful inside and out, and I follow you and all of the things that you do, and I'm here for you. And I just pray that God just blesses you and your family mightily. I really do.
You. Back at you. Thank you for having me.
You're so kind to come and just be vulnerable and share your truth, and I know a lot of people appreciate that, and I know I'm one of them. So thank you.
You're amazing.
I love you.
Love you too.
And we're out.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching the Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.